Good morning. And how are you, dear friends?
All right.
Divine love in and through me uplifts and blesses you right now. It is my joy to be with you once again, and the message I have for you today is inner peace leads to greater inner power. When I was here last time, I did talk about peace, and I didn't quite realize it until later, but my lesson today is a little different because today I'm trying to turn your attention to the fruitage of inner peace and how it builds your faculty of power. This is also the day that our prayer chaplains recommit to serve this community. And we, the congregation here, we all pray for their empowerment by the Holy Spirit so that their consciousness may be so enlivened that when they pray for you, friends, powerful things happen. I also want to inspire you, the individual today, that the potential, that you have this great potential as a child of God. And this potential you have gives you the ability to change not just your own life, but the lives of others. So I want to inspire you to harness that power within you. The poet Tennyson said, "More things are wrought by prayer than this world dreams of." And if your prayers have been answered in a situation where you thought there was no happy outcome, you know what I'm talking about. You'll agree with me. More things are wrought by prayer than this world dreams of. Inner peace, friends, comes to everyone who spends time communing with God in the silence of their soul. That's why you do that little meditation every day and you have that time. I love that time of silence. The truth is, the words of our prayers are meant to remind us who we are, to bring our thinking into a love for God, into an awareness of our need to be sincere, to be humble when we come to God, to bring our thoughts from the outer world, to focusing those thoughts upon God, because the truth is God don't need your prayers. Great realization, you know. He's always with you. He never leaves you nor forsakes you. He remains your refuge and your strength no matter what. He is your healer and your provider. That's why at any moment you open up that little space in your consciousness, he comes in. You see? His storehouse of ideas are inexhaustible. The storehouse is inexhaustible. So there is nothing that you want or desire that you cannot have and that he will not provide. However, God gives us in accordance with our faith, our expectancy, and our receptivity to him. So it becomes our responsibility, friends, to open up that way. I'm talking about open up that way in your consciousness that his goodness, his richness, his ideas, his spirit, his healing can flow through you. And it happens in a recognition and of God, or recognition of God, and in our unity with him in prayer. I believe that the reason that we do not get answers sometimes is because we do not cultivate that habit of listening, that time in the silence. I just came to my mind, this girl introduced me a couple of weeks ago to the 5-minute app. Did you know there's a 5-minute app for your phone? It's called First 5 Minutes. First 5 minutes. If all you can give is 5 minutes to someone who is giving you everything, not complaining, do what you have to do, to get to that place. So we need to listen. Sometimes we want to dictate how the answers should come. Each one of us here, I don't know, I certainly know when the income tax return comes. I recognize it. Do you recognize when your income tax return is in the mailbox? Do you recognize it? Yeah. What if one day the income tax return did not come in that envelope? What if it came in a plain white envelope with no window? Some of us would just toss it. Do you open the mail with a circular file right there in you? Some of us would just toss it because we're expecting it to come in just one way. Sometimes kids say the wisest things. But you know what we do? We dismiss them. Oh, that's just a kid. We ignore them. But I want you to know that God uses any channel to get your good to you, any channel that is open and receptive. So don't be so stayed looking for just one way for God to answer your prayer. Open up yourselves and be receptive to Him. Sometimes we feel that we have to pray in some profound way. The words have to sound so pretty. And we forget that prayer is to change us and not to change God. I want to share with you a classic Eric Butterworth story. Anybody know who? Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Eric Butterworth says there was a woman who she was given a healing affirmation, and the next week he called to see how she was. She said that she had recovered, but couldn't recall the affirmation. So she said, I just said, oh hell, I'm well. Friends, it wasn't any profound words that healed her. I need for you to know that. It wasn't the profound words. She was healed by her heartfelt desire for healing, you see. Her faith in this God that will give you anything that you ask Him for. That's how she was healed. As we mature in prayer, our prayers move from asking for things, and they take this turn to an acknowledgement of the omniscience, the omnipotence of an omnipresent God. We make that turn. And I know all our prayer chaplains have made that turn. Because you see, you understand that He already knows your needs. Let us remember that God is all there is. There is nothing else. In oneness with Him, then, all our needs All our needs are met in his own good and perfect way. You know the prodigal son story? His brother complained to his father that the prodigal son had taken his inheritance and he had gone away from home and he squandered it, and after he found himself destitute, he hit rock bottom. There was nowhere else to go, and so he came back home. When he came home, his father threw him a lavish party. And the brother who was at home began to complain. He said, look, here I am. I've been at home with you all this time, doing all that I'm supposed to do. And I never got a lavish party. And his father said, son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. God is saying that same thing to you today. You come to church every week. You're here. You do your prayer work and everything. And you didn't get a lavish party? Son, daughter, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. We must therefore claim the good that it is that we desire. Not please, 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 but thank you, Father, for health manifesting in my body right now. Whatever the lavish party you want, whatever it is that you want, claim it now. To think, friends, that only a miracle can save you is to believe that God does not or has not given you everything. Do you see how we negate his power? Let us remember that God's laws and his truth are unchanging. And when you know the law and you apply the law, you get your answer. And if you don't know the law, what do? Thy grace is sufficient for me. Declare it. Declare it with me now. Thy grace is sufficient for me. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Your goodwill, your favor, your mercy, it is sufficient for me. In our times of meditation, we raise our consciousness to the realm of spirit. We go from the level of the problem to the level of the solution. And it is when we still our thoughts, friends, and wait upon God in the silence that we get the answer, the guidance, the instruction, the blessing comes. Some hear an audible voice, some a word, some an idea, some have a feeling of a warmth surrounding them, some have a sharp intake of breath. But even if we hear nothing, we can all attest to that feeling of inner peace. Inner peace. If you begin to do that meditation every day, you will notice that you begin to embody that peace. It says you have touched the inner realms of spirit. It says your prayers have been heard, and you can then go your way rejoicing, knowing that you are in the center of God's care and keeping. And you can then take the next step that you are guided to make for your day. That power that undergirds every thought and every word. your every activity. That power is the energy and the vitality of spirit. The faculty of power, this faculty of mind, power, gives you the ability to accomplish, to do, to make, to produce, and to master your thoughts and your feelings. Power is not to master people. I know we would love to. But we are not to master people. We are to have power over our thoughts and over our feelings. Charles Fillmore in the 12 Powers of Man says, we inherit power over the forces of our mind, in truth over all ideas. And a quickening must precede our realization of innate control of our thoughts and feelings. In other words, there must be an impartation of the energy and vitality of spirit to stimulate and to excite us to action. There must be an inflow of the vitality of spirit into our consciousness from the Father. And as instruments of the living God, power is essential to do the work that He has called us to do in our own lives and in the lives of others. Perhaps you already know that our spiritual faculties reside in nerve centers within the body. Did you know that? Well, the center of power makes its home right here in the throat. You talk until you hear that vibratory power, you hear that vibration. Your faculty of power makes its home in the throat so that when you speak your word, you expect things, prayer chaplains, things to happen. And all our words, as they pass over this power center in the throat, you see, your words already have power given to you. Ideas already come clothed with all they need to bring them into fruition, okay? But when they pass over this power center in the throat at the vocal cords, they pick up additional power, vibratory power. And they your words express in a dynamic way. I want to share with you an analogy given by Mary Alice and Richard Jaffola about what power looks like. This bulb in the room, this light bulb, the rays from this bulb scatter the light throughout the room. Now, the only way to harness this power from this light bulb, the only way to harness this light is to put a shade on it, or it's directed through a prism. Now, what about laser light? Laser light is different. The rays of laser light are not diffused like this, not scattered, but are in phase. The rays of light are in phase, so that when you direct a laser to something, it is singularly powerful. The Jaffolas say that laser light is incredibly precise in its focus and singularly powerful in its effect. So I'm saying to you this morning, your spoken word, this is the thing. Your spoken word is like laser light, singularly powerful, precise in its effect. That is why the prophet Isaiah could say, "So shall my word be that goes forth from my mouth. It shall not return unto me empty, empty, but it shall accomplish that which I purpose and succeed in the thing for which I sent it. Got it? Yes, Jesus puts it this way. You shall decree a thing, and it shall be done for you by my Father. You see, you set up a powerful vibration that moves things. And I want you to know, just remember, when you are using this power, it's going through you first. So you know what you need to do. Be affirmative. Be truthful. Be constructive. Your words become flesh. Therefore, make sure that at all times you watch your words. Have you noticed how people who are deeply spiritual hardly say anything? They just stand around. They stand guard at the door from the formless to the form. They guard that power. Don't think that when you speak your words that they evaporate into air. They make an impression upon the ethers, and they stand as a testament to you. So that those who are more spiritually evolved can look at, oh, you said that, huh? It's there for everyone to see. That is why we must be constructive and be affirmative in our thinking and in our words. So I'm going to leave you with that today. I urge you to find that place of inner peace. Have many times in that silence so that you build that consciousness and that you become an instrument that God can use to bless your life and to bless the lives of others. So I say to you this morning, New Thought Spiritual Center, go forth to live powerfully as a child of God. And so it is.